and a huge welcome to this sketchbook tour. Now I want to show you inside one of my Moleskin sketchbooks. This is one of the pocket sketchbooks that I started in 2021, and I've just finished the sketchbook today, and I wanted to give you a tour of what is inside. Now, for some reason, I never seem to start my sketchbooks on the first page. I move on to the second. And a lot of my sketchbooks often contain stuff like this, just simple words and notes, gets it out of my brain. This is a pencil warm-up, so this is where I've just used different marks in pencil to get used to using the tools and materials. I had some ideas for some prints that I wanted to note down in here, and a potential calendar, and some festive stuff. And then I've started to sketch just in pencil some different leaf shapes, some ginkgo leaves. I think I've developed this just a little bit more, so I've gone to a slightly more detailed sketch. These are sketches that I did in Shaftesbury down in Dorset, just a pencil sketch of the area where I was sat. My daughter took over my sketchbook here, so you see lots of my sketchbooks have some pages that are a little bit messy and scribbly. Watercolour of Shaftesbury done in July 2021. And I did some really quick little studies here of my parents at an allotment, and again some nature studies. I actually pressed a couple of little flowers which are stuck in the sketchbook here. Some lemons in, I think that's acrylic, little gooseberries. And then here I move on to some sketches that I did for my book Sketchbook Challenge. So these were illustrations that were actually included in the book. This is gouache, the prompt was numbers. This was a warm-up I did with my sketching group Inspire, looking at cross-hatching, loops and little scribbly trees. Really fun warm-up. And I did quite a bit of landscape painting last year. So these are some landscape studies in acrylic that I've done in my sketchbook. I also like to do colour swatches. So here I was blending between ultramarine and burnt sienna with a little bit of white mixed in. So I was exploring the different variations of colour that I could achieve with acrylic. And again, I've explored a little bit more with a paler variation of colours. This was a sketch to do with sport, again featured in my book Sketchbook Challenge. A really rough acrylic painting. I have gessoed the paper here with a clear gesso that's got a bit of texture and bite. Quite nice to paint on. The paper in these Moleskin sketchbooks is relatively thick, so it gives me the ability to use pen, pencil, this is a street scene, pen, acrylic, watercolour, and it does bleed through at times, but generally I can use a real variety of mediums, and most of my sketchbooks have a complete variation of things in them. Again, more prompts from the book Sketchbook Challenge, things I was playing with. Some of these illustrations made it into the book, some didn't. Again, I was out, this was August in Dorset. It was actually a fruit picking place. Did a couple of quick sketches there, that's watercolour. This was one of my favourite places at Moor Valley Country Park down in Dorset, and it was a view from a lookout, and this is a forest scene. I didn't have long to sketch it, but I really enjoyed sitting there looking across the landscape. And as you can see here, I've moved into more pencil studies. So something that I really like to do is to play with pencil to create different marks. This is such an important warm-up exercise to do, to see what your pencil can do and explore. Bit of a play with charcoal here. And again, a couple more prompts that were in Sketchbook Challenge, the book, music and toys and games. Another acrylic study. I quite enjoy this painting. I think it's quite a nice little acrylic painting. Lots of notes and writing. So as you can see, my sketchbooks are generally very, very varied. This is almost like a diary. I see my sketching as almost thinking. So these Moleskin journals are the ones that go in my handbag, go in my rucksack, are taken out everywhere I go. So whether I'm in the studio, whether I'm taking notes on something to do with art, everything gets recorded in here. Again, another acrylic painting study. This was in the book Sketchbook Challenge as well. Rooftops, some people studies. And as you can see, sometimes I scribble things out because I don't like them. It's fine. These are me thinking, watching people. This was actually in my sort of town centre in Woking, and there's this set of steps, and people often sit on these steps in the summer, and I just liked the view where I was standing of these people sat. I quite enjoyed that. Sometimes I leave pages a bit messy. I bought some really beautiful little stamps here which I was trying out on the page. More pencil warm-ups. So these are exercises that I use for teaching. So these are very often things that I will teach in my live Zoom sessions or on YouTube or on my sketching membership or in my courses. And all this stuff gets recorded in my daily sketchbook. Here I was exploring florals and looking at different pencil qualities and textures and things. Just a little bit of a play with pencil. And again, more pencil play. A little bit of a continuous line, a slightly more detailed pencil sketch, the human figure. Really fun warm-up this one, doing faces, which is part of the Inspire warm-up in October 22. And then I bought some beautiful blue ink that I've been experimenting with, which is this one here. And I've been playing with dip pens. I've got some lovely dip pens that I've got quite a few of them that I experiment with, and I've just been here was experimenting with different ways of applying the ink, either with a paintbrush watered down or with the dip pen. A little bit more figure studies. Experimenting with ways of holding the pencil, and this was a YouTube video that I created on how you can hold the pencil in different ways. Some tonal studies in pencil. A cactus, I do love a cactus. I bought some new pens. I bought some marker pens in 3 different tones to give me the ability. So I was just having a little study. I also did that study on an envelope and stuck it in. That was my coffee this afternoon. And then I've played with a little bit of blue acrylic paint, just colour swatching some new colours that I've got. I'm doing a couple of blue studies and just playing with that. The end. So that is my sketchbook. As you can see, my Moleskin sketchbooks, these are my daily journals and sketchbooks that will often last 6 months to a year. This one had a big pause in the middle because it was sent off to my publisher Search Press for some of these images to be scanned in and used for the book Sketchbook Challenge, this one for example, so they kept hold of it for a while. It's come back to me and then I've then finished it off. It's really satisfying to finish a sketchbook. It's not something that I used to do very often, and I certainly have more sketchbooks in my studio here at home that are half full rather than completely full, but this is an example of one that I finished. And the reason I'm showing you this is just to show that I do such a variety of stuff in my daily sketchbooks, from very finished pieces like this to scribbles to doodles to my daughter having a scribble in it. It's a sort of all my daily record, or not even daily, but it's just a record of all the stuff I get up to, exercises that I get on with, and just a really fun record. And I love looking back and flicking through. I can remember me sitting here with fruit that we'd just picked from the blueberry bushes in this particular place down in Dorset, and we were sat here having a coffee, munching on our blueberries, looking at the beautiful scenery. So these sort of sketchbooks take you right back to the place where you were sketching, and it's just such a wonderful record of all the stuff you get up to. So I hope this is a really interesting and honest look through my sketchbook, from all sorts of sketches and doodles and plays with colour to pencil scribbles and landscapes and more. And you will find more sketchbook tours on my YouTube channel as well as tutorials of how to sketch and all sorts of wonderful fun things, because I do love a sketchbook. Thank you for watching.